Hello guys, welcome back. Konnichiwa. Herzlich willkommen. So my friends, let's talk about BBAI, Big Bear AI, and about the squeeze potential here for 2025. Where are the price goes to the downside and upside, and is the squeeze still active, or is this the beginning of a bigger crash? I will let you know all the details here based on the chart, guys. This is not financial advice. So let's start with the video. If you have not seen my previous videos, we have here some signals on the RSI when we start here first with some chart signals. And we had a massive Powerball signal here in March 2025. That was this candle here, guys. I will zoom in for you because we have to see both directions, right? The upside and the downside. And you can see, and that is very important, that we have here this candle, which marked that power bulls, big bulls coming in. That does not mean, guys, that this automatically is the bottom. They can, of course, bring the price even more down. And that is exactly what happened here with BBAI when the market had its sell-off, fake sell-off, guys, here in April 2025. That was also the reason why BBAI came a little bit lower. Here, the bull stepped in at $3.12. We came down to $2.35. 36, and then started to squeeze from there. When we now zoom out, guys, then we know that we have here a very, very strong uptrend for BBAI. However, an uptrend also means that you have to pull back before, the bulls, guys, power bulls or big whales, call them whatever you want. The bullish market makers, they don't buy a stock here or any asset in the market at these price levels. They always try to get the lowest possible price. And that means when you have, like, for example, squeezes like that from a couple of few $100. So when we see, for example, here the bottom at $1.17, we had here a 788% squeeze. And that means, guys, we have to pull back 70, 80, 90% before the next run starts. So when we just compare that here now back to 2024, just 1 year ago here in March, 1.5 years, you can see that this squeeze here, the pullback, the total pullback of this squeeze here was 75% before we had the next bigger breakout. When we now compare this squeeze here, the peak was in February 2025, then we had a total pullback of 77%. Now again, guys, the situation is that when the market bottom has been in here, April 2025, BBAI squeezed again 267%. What does that mean? That we could see a much, much bigger pullback right now before the next squeeze comes up. Right now, when we compare this, the pullback is right now, when we measure the high, the peak here, and the bottom is 45%. And that's why, in my opinion, guys, the pullback has not been completed yet. So let's talk about the price levels now, where we can identify what the market makers are doing. And therefore, I show you my drawings, guys. Here we go. By the way, guys, BBAI is one of my favorite squeeze plays, swing trades. I never backhold the stock. If you bought, for example, BBAI here in the low $1 price range, guys, that might be a perfect dip for you. But everybody who bought in here in the higher price ranges, I only focus here, mainly focus on this white trend line in the chart, which marks something like a technical bottom for BBAI. This is not financial advice. I just show you what the chart is telling us here. What I also do, if you don't want to trade BBAI or missed the actual squeeze, I have a lot of short squeeze plays here on Patreon, where I try to identify potential breakout stocks and, of course, try to predict those breakouts before they happen. Here back on 21st of April, I released an BBAI video, guys. You can find that video on my channel. I said we have here a huge bullish signal. We could see a squeeze, guys. That was exactly that day. And as you can see for BBAI, exactly on that day, the bottom has been in, and that was the beginning of a squeeze. I have my methods how to spot these short squeeze stocks and these signals. And as I mentioned before, I also released those tickers on Patreon. Here's just one example what happened last week. That was here one of my stocks, which I posted on this day here. The yellow line marks the day. We had, again here, guys, also two very, very bullish signals from my RSI indicator, which is, by the way, also, guys, available in the video description. If you want to use my indicators, there are links in the video description. This signals, guys, appeared shortly after my video. I always try to alarm my members before something happens. We came back here in this algo demand zone, the blue box, and then a couple of days later here, you can see this stock squeezed more than 300%. So it is possible to predict squeezes. There is never a guarantee. If you want to see those breakout stocks, we have new tickers available now on Patreon, which haven't squeezed yet. The full package membership gives you access to all my stocks, guys, the breakout predictions, the swing trade alerts, and of course also to my trading tutorials. So if you are a beginner or advanced trader, I have a lot of content here available for beginners, or as I said, advanced traders. Everybody will find some helpful content here. The link patreon.com/blackbelttrader is also available in the video description. The price levels, guys, for BBAI. Let's make it quick and simple. My last video was here, 12th of August, and I said that we have a very thin temporary support at $6.12. You can see that the market makers break the price below $6.13 is this temporary line, and we had here one retest, two retests, and failed. That's why I say I don't use too many lines in my chart. This is a very thin support. That's why you see no description here, because nothing changed. When we see the long-term setup here for BBAI, then the actual, let's call it squeeze support, yeah, algo squeeze support is between $4 and $5.16. In a perfect trading world, guys, if this bullish setup stays active, and honestly, I believe that it will stay active, that means in a, let's call it in a super bullish environment, we are still in a bullish market environment, BBAI will find support here in this range. I strongly believe that we will come down here, yeah, $4.18, guys, here in that range. I think that the price has to dip a little bit more. When this shakeout happened here, you can see that BBAI traded at $4.77. I think that we have to come a little bit lower here in this range before we see something happen. For everybody who wants to wait for the perfect dip, as I mentioned that in the beginning of the video, this white trend line here shows the main support. And that means if we would touch this trend line again, BBAI should go back below $2.60, guys, here in this range, $2.40, 50, 60. It's an ascending line. That's why I can just tell you here the price goals, and you can see as long as we stay in the bull market, this is also the main support zone for BBAI. And I think, as I said before, the white trend line will mark the bottom for the next algo squeeze. That might sound scary. Maybe you don't believe that we could see a potential 50% drop, but just compare what happened here before, after all these squeezes, guys. Strong pullback squeeze, strong pullback squeeze. Yeah, this is the game, guys. This is what the market makers do. So to summarize that up, in my opinion, yes, BBAI is still a very, very active short squeeze play. Is this the right time to buy now here at $5 or higher? For me, guys, as a trader, no. I want to wait for the dip. There is a potential swing trade waiting here in the $4.20 range. Yeah, this is a potential price goal, but the main dip, the major dip, which I would like to see, is waiting here between $2.90 and $1.90 for BBAI, and this is when we still have a bull market. If we should see a transition, which is possible, guys, this year, that the market starts to crash. I don't know if a lot of people already warn you and alarm you. There is no warning yet, because the crash is not visible yet, at least how I see the charts. I released some videos here on the S&P 500 which identify when the market starts to crash or squeeze. But as I mentioned before, there is a high potential that we see a bear market coming in 2025. And if that happens, then BBI might go lower even than this bullish algo demand zone, but this is not the situation yet. In the long term, guys, short term, there is also a good news. We have some good news here, because there is still an open gap at $6.74. So no matter how deep we see here a dip coming, all open gaps which we ever had for BBAI, guys, yeah, you can see that here my gap indicator is showing here old gaps with this kind of fields here. Orange fields are down gaps, green fields are up gaps, and you can see all gaps, all open up gaps have been filled sooner or later in the daily chart here. And the only last open gap which we have for BBAI is this one here at $6.74. So that means, based on the actual price, there is a small swing trade potential of 31%. I think, guys, we have to come here in that zone. When you see here the EMA lines, tricky, yeah, we lost the support here. The purple EMA line supported the price. We lost that support. So if you don't want to work with these kind of drawings, if you really just want to work with indicators, what I don't recommend, guys, try to always spot by yourself where the algos are waiting. But if you want to do so, then something here between $4.50 and $4.10 is a potential rebound zone for BBAI before we see a next potential squeeze coming up. Guys, I will keep you updated here on my channel about BBAI. Thank you so much for your loyal support. Please like this video, guys. And I think there is something like a hype button. Yeah, I would really appreciate that. I normally never ask for that, but you can also hype this video if you want. That helps you guys, helps to spread out the content, make more people knowing about BBAI. It's a nice short squeeze play in my opinion. And as I mentioned before, guys, I work here always with TradingView. You can get my indicators in the video description. If you don't have TradingView, there's also a discount link for the premium tier. This is what I'm using here also in all my videos and for all my trades. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. I hope that was a helpful update. Yeah, take care, all the best, stay sharp and see you in the next video. Arigatou gozaimasu, vielen Dank, alles Gute und bis zum nächsten Video. Take care. Bye bye, guys.